Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous female left behind and forward-moving spouse with a bomb drop of October 23rd, 2023, and a date of marriage of 2017. She has an off and on and is not familiar with energy level types. She says we'd always had a very good relationship, no arguments, same values, hopes, and dreams. Small changes in its behavior happened from about 4 years ago, but nothing to be concerned about our relationship. He started smoking cigars. He never smoked before. He slept a lot. He stayed up on his phone playing games at night. At the end of October was bomb drop. I found out about an alienator that lasted 3 months this past April. He promises now that this has ended. He's since moved into a one-bedroom flat. He spends all of his time at the gym, and he's taking steroids. Okay, that fits. He is getting counseling as he recognizes something is wrong. We don't have any children, but we have 3 dogs, and he's only just started letting them back in. He completely ignored them for months. He's cut out his parents, and he only speaks to his grandparents because they don't address the fact that we are separated. He's devastated everyone around him, and he doesn't seem to care. Will I ever see the man I know and love again? How do I continue? I'm trying to detach and leave him to it, but I miss him. How do I do this? What are my steps now? So first, you said you found out about an alienator that lasted 3 months. Was that a physical affair or was it an emotional affair? Was one of the first questions I had. And since it only lasted 3 months, he promises it's ended, and you found out, it sounds like you found out possibly at the end or afterwards. Was it then not a limerent affair because it only lasted 3 months? It may have ended before you found out. So that's why I'm asking about that. And he moved out. Why did he move out? I'm asking, did you say he needed to move out due to discovering of the affair? Did he choose to move out? Did he say he wants a divorce? How did that come to be? Just what were the circumstances with his deciding to move out? Let's look. So spending time at the gym, taking steroids, those go with some of the depression stages. You saw small changes in his behavior over the last 4 years, which is small changes that could have been from depression. What happened 4 years ago? Did anything happen? Was it just small life changes? Small life meaning maybe new job and maybe a move. Could have been things that were going to happen anyway as life transitions. And I don't mean a life transition. I mean just as you change and grow. Okay. So, will you ever see the man you know and love again? First, I can't make a guarantee of that, but yeah. In general, I'm going to say yeah. And the reason I'm saying yeah right now is because this has not been going on very long. And what you're looking, well, I'm not looking at that you've seen the small changes at 4 years. I'm looking at that you are dealing with somebody who is depressed. And he had an affair. It is supposedly ended. We aren't feeling an energy of another person. A high energy replaying limerence where she is his soulmate. She's everything. He will even demonize you to make her look better. If you badmouth her, oh, that's even worse. So we're not feeling that kind of energy. So I'm looking at a low energy. And that doesn't mean he is a low energy wallower, but I'm feeling more low energy due to that lack of limerence that's going on. And it hasn't been going on for very long. Will you see him again? Yeah, he can come through this. And it hasn't been going on very long. If he would be willing to get professional help, that's great. And I think you said he is, because he recognizes that he's not feeling himself. That is wonderful. Now, the only thing I will say about that is when they get counseling, as he recognizes something is wrong, sometimes they can take that, when they are in a state of mind, they can twist it. And if they are only getting what the counselor is getting their side of it, they can twist. The counselor first hears only one side. And the MLCer can twist what the counselor says and misinterpret or interpret incorrectly. Or the counselor, it's not the counselor's fault, but the counselor can say something and it might not be interpreted incorrectly because the counselor is not giving feedback because the counselor isn't getting the right information. Let's put it that way. Now, that's not always how it works. And counselors know that they're only hearing one side, but what are they to do? And that doesn't mean that you should be going for couples therapy either, because that's not going to work when they are not willing to work on couples therapy. We have to fix the person. So sometimes it can be a bit of a double bind, and it puts counselors in a really bad situation as well. But I am glad that he is recognizing something is wrong. That is a really big sign. He recognized something's wrong, and he's recognizing that it's wrong with him. So I'm really proud of him for that. And he is doing something about it. So congratulations to him. Now, you have to leave him to that. And he might recognize something's wrong, and then he might go he might go 2 sessions, 3 sessions, and decide, you know what, I'm fine. I realized I wasn't the problem. And he might be wrong about that. And yet you have to let him be wrong about it. That's part of detachment. Is you have to let him be wrong about it. You have to let him figure it out. And what that means is also you have to let him not figure it out. Or if he's going to figure it out in 2 years, you have to let him not figure it out right now. And that sucks. It really sucks. So the how do you continue part is you continue by not letting him figure it out, by letting go, which is a type of detachment. So trying to detach and leaving to it. What are the steps? The steps are learning emotional regulation. And that can be really difficult when you're seeing somebody in pain, but when it's also causing it to you. When you're seeing somebody do damage to themselves, which might also be doing damage to you. When you're seeing somebody who is also telling untruths, whether those untruths are damaging or just hurtful about you. And not only that, but they may not be telling untruths, but they may be telling things which are not truthful. And what I mean by that is they may not be lying, because what I consider to be a lie is when somebody knows they aren't telling the truth. I don't consider it a lie if they aren't aware that what they are saying is not truthful. So they might be saying something that is not right. It's dishonest if they know it's dishonest, if they know it's wrong. But if they don't know, they're misinterpreting or they're saying it wrong. And that's what can happen with this amygdala activation. If they're fight or flight, if they're in a panic state, if they're in a state of anxiety, which can happen with a depression. If they're in a state of depression, a state of hopelessness, where in the state of hopelessness they interpret everything is going bad. Everything is going wrong. Nothing can go right. You feel like you really can't get out of this. There really isn't a way to fix it. Then you're going to see it all as bad. And you're going to interpret it all as bad. And you're going to then explain things from that point of view. And some things are not going to come out as what is really true, even if they are coming from an honest point of view. So I want you to detach emotionally from that, saying, okay, that it's still a valid feeling, even if the feeling is not based on something true. And therapy for you as well, to help you through this and with this. And then, what are some steps for you? Detachment is an idea. Detachment itself isn't an action, even if it's a verb, okay? Detachment is an idea. Letting go is an idea. What you do for the actions are do things for you. What you do for your healing is do things for you. So, what are things that are important to you? And when I say important to you, I mean you personally and as an individual. I don't mean, well, I like doing things with my husband. I like cooking dinner that he likes. If you had kids, I would ask you questions or say, don't be based on, roles based on being a mom, that kind of thing. I don't want your identity to be based on being his wife. And it's when we have kids, we're even more entrenched in that kind of an identity, which is why I made it that way. So think about some of the things that could be hobbies. Think about other things you can do. Some of the things don't have to be hobbies. What are some steps to take? So think about this. Tonight, find a meditation. Whether you have your own meditations or go on YouTube, look up detachment or letting go, those keywords, meditation. Go into the filters and say, put on the ones that say 20 minutes or longer. Find one. And when you go to bed at night, put that on. If you can do it with headphones, put on the headphones. When you go to bed, listen to that. Headphones are great. Some of the meditations or hypnosis, and sometimes those words can be used interchangeably. Some places will put in the word meditation if they think the target audience won't accept the word hypnosis. But it's the same thing sometimes, not always. Okay. So sometimes they will put special things in one ear versus the other ear, which is why you want a headset for some of them. It's not always the case. If you're doing something that has, say, a binaural beat, you want headsets because it is different things for different ears. But try and fall asleep to that. So that's not, oh, well, my passion is on hobbies. That's something you can do, and it helps with your emotional regulation. Now, I just recommended something on letting go and detachment, but I'll look up other ones too. Just calming meditations. Okay? Meditations for healing. Just maybe a meditation to help you sleep. I know when I was going through it, I just needed to sleep. And in the beginning, I wasn't sleeping. And for the first 6 weeks or so after bomb drop, Chuck wasn't gone yet. And he was on his edge of the bed doing the edge of the bed cling. And I was there and not sleeping well. And I decided I was just, and I didn't have a headset or anything. And he probably would have made some rude comment about it. I was just going to meditate. And I just had to do it in my head, deep breathing. And it was the only thing that got me, not necessarily sleep, but rest for some of those 6 weeks. I probably fell a little bit asleep, and I could hear him next to me going, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad, not sleeping. And sometimes he revealed some of himself, not knowing I wasn't sleeping also. And I don't even know if he was aware that he was doing that, if maybe he was sleeping doing it. So these are things to help with your emotional regulation, doing some of that meditation. That's one step. What we're looking at is doing things that are bringing you to mindfulness. Now, what else can you do? What other things can bring you to mindfulness? Take a yoga class. Find the runner's high. So go for runs. If you're somebody that does that. If you're somebody that doesn't run unless you're being chased, that might not work for you. But what will work for you? Painting. Journaling. All of those other things. Maybe some of those are your passions. Writing poetry. Find something that might be your passion, or maybe it would just be something that will help you with journaling. For some people, journaling is like, I love journaling. Or for some, it's, I need to do it because it's meditative. What is it for you? Going for walks, especially walks in nature. It was just a little YouTube short I was watching yesterday on another thing that helps with calming the amygdala. And they said there have been studies that say walks specifically in nature. So I used to live in Tacoma, It was hard to get in nature. I was on concrete, but I can definitely see how if I go out in the forest, just thinking about it brings it, helps me. So if you can't do it, imagine it, but being there for real, walks in nature. Somehow get out into the natural world. Go visit a petting zoo. Go out and do something. So what you're doing now in that is you're getting out and you're getting involved in life. You're being busy, but you're not being busy to avoid. You're being busy for the opposite of avoiding. You're being busy to become involved. You're being busy to give back and pay forward. And you are distracting yourself as well. But you're distracting yourself with life. That's how you continue, because these are things that calm you down. What we're trying to do is simply bring down your levels of panic and anxiety so that you can interact with him on a level that is calmer, because we want his levels to be that way also. But imagine they're not. And imagine both of you are at a high level of panic and anxiety. How are you going to deal with each other? But now imagine you have one person who is calm and one isn't. That person who is calm might be able to help bring the other one down. And then if you have two people who are calm, and by calm I don't mean boring, I just mean people who aren't panicked, freaked out, angry, activated in fight or flight, so their adrenaline is rushing. They don't have executive functioning, because fight or flight shuts some of that down. So they can't think logically. They are just go, go, go. They're panicked. I already said panicked. They are in their lizard brain. I'm trying to think of the other term for it. Primitive brain. And so many other functions shut down. Some of the functions that don't shut down are anger and rage. It's fight or flight. Remember, fight is one of those. That's what they see. That is not a healthy state of being. And so you don't want to be with that. So I either want you in a state where you can help be a calming force for that, or you want to get them to that, and you can be that together. So learn to be that. And that's what going through some of these mindfulness things should be. Okay? So I hope this helps, and I will see everybody in the next question.